You want to fight, bro?
Yeah, the Fight Bros podcast. To three, it's fine.
Okay.
Okay, you ready?
Okay.
Three, two, one.
What's up, Fight Bros podcast listeners? We're bringing you podcast number 16 today on November 24th, 2019. As always, I'm Marcus Burks, and this is Albert Walters.
Hey, guys! Happy to be here as always. We've got a good podcast for you. We hate we aren't gonna have any fights until December 7th.
Yeah, man. It sucks, man, not having no fights. I mean, like we said, it's kind of good because, it's giving them time to build out cards. But,
Yeah,
dang, man. Like, what is it? It's going to be like 3 weeks without fights.
yeah, three weeks without fights.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 more weeks from today until our next fight,
Yeah.
and then 3 weeks from today until the next pay-per-view.
Yep.
So
That's
it's
going to be a good one.
Yeah. So but the next few fights are gonna be stacked.
Yeah.
So oh man, it's gonna be so exciting. So we've got stacked cards from December all the way till February.
So we still got some big news this week though.
Yeah,
Like, a lot of good things happening.
Yeah, a
this
lot of
week.
good things happening. So let's jump into it. So what's going on?
So probably our biggest news that we'll talk about today. Yesterday, Dana White and Floyd Mayweather, they made a post on Instagram together, announcing their partnership and saying that they got something big coming in 2020. Floyd also stated that he is coming out of retirement for whatever big event that they got planned in 2020.
Okay, we've got some gears rolling. What do you think's gonna happen with that?
I don't know, man. It's kind of interesting. We ain't heard Floyd ain't been in the headlines for a while. He ain't been in the headlines since. I remember we talked about him a while back.
A while back,
We
yeah.
talked about how he came out saying that he was going to fight Manny Pacquiao.
But it was only in like a 3-round bout, and it couldn't go on their record.
Yeah.
I think it's because he's scared to lose, man. He doesn't want to taint that record.
But my question to you is like, what do you think he is coming out of retirement for? Who will it be against? Is it going to be in UFC? Is it going to be in boxing?
Well, a lot of people don't know, but Dana White owns what's the name of his boxing promotion?
Zuffa Boxing.
Zuffa Boxing. So
Yeah.
Dana White owns Zuffa Boxing, but they've not had any fights yet, have they?
I don't think so. I think they might have on Fight Pass.
Yeah.
He's kind of getting it started.
Yeah. But it's not like any real fight yet.
Yeah, cause
So-
see, I think on our posters, well, on the UFC card, it'll always say like presented by Zuffa Boxing. So that's like his boxing company. It always shows it somewhere on the UFC. It's not on the posters, but
Yeah. Well, so then that's the thing, Floyd could be coming out to fight in Zuffa Boxing. And, I guess Floyd would possibly want to do that because if he fought in Zuffa Boxing, that would not ruin his regular boxing record, that he's gotten in his other boxing promotion. So that's a possibility of that happening. I don't think we're going to see Floyd coming to the UFC, which we could, but
Yeah.
I have my doubts. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think he could stay up with wrestlers, with people who's throwing legs and knees.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he could stay up with that because the only people he's really been fighting are people who's fighting with their hands.
Yeah.
So, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I kind of think they're doing. Floyd ain't been in the media for a while. He ain't been out there, so this is something big, and it could definitely set off Dana White's Zuffa Boxing if they were to do a boxing fight.
Yeah.
With it, this would be the perfect fighter to kind of get you started off with.
Yeah, it would be, especially if he was to fight Pacquiao,
Yeah.
or even McGregor.
So that's what the reports were coming in yesterday. Shortly after they said that Floyd, inside sources have said that Floyd wants to fight 3 times in 2020. They said he wants to fight at the beginning of 2020 a boxing fight with Manny Pacquiao. I'm assuming that would be in like this Zuffa Boxing under Dana White.
Yeah, if they did that in like February or March.
And Dana White, he's a pretty good promoter. I mean, the UFC is dude, I can't remember. Its net worth is like $6 billion, something crazy.
It's a good number.
Yeah, so I mean, Dana White, he's a good promoter. So him and Floyd partnering up, they're gonna make a lot of cash together.
Yeah. Well, I don't think Dana White can afford Floyd Mayweather, because in boxing he's making like 30, 40 million. The
Yeah.
boxers and the fighters in UFC aren't coming close to that.
Well, I mean, Dana knows that I think he made $100 million against Conor, something like that. He made something for his fight with Conor. I know when he went to Japan last year it was either last year or the year before, he did like a New Year's Eve event in Japan where he knocked out that kid. I mean, the guy was the young guy was a really respected fighter for Ryzen, but as we know, UFC is the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
You know, Ryzen they do a little bit of everything. They do boxing, kickboxing, they do it all, but UFC and Showtime boxing, that's kind of like the cream of the crop with the best fighters. But Floyd supposedly stated that the last 2 fights that he wants to have in 2020, so he wants to do that fight against Pacquiao supposedly early 2020, then fight 2 UFC crossover fights against UFC fighters. I'm assuming it would be...
You're assuming it would be in boxing.
Or it could be in Dana White's like Zuffa boxing, because...
Which is still boxing.
Yeah, Dana stated that when Zuffa boxing gets set off, that he does not want UFC fighters coming over in boxing. A lot of UFC fighters have stated they want to come over, like Cody Garbrandt has stated that he could win a title in that Zuffa boxing, this and that.
Yeah.
So a lot of UFC fighters kind of have a little interest in getting into Dana White's Zuffa boxing. Khabib's manager came out. He posted a picture saying that the original plan... He actually posted a poster. He said that was the poster that was supposed to be coming out, but it fell through. He said that Khabib and Floyd were supposed to have a boxing match in January. Obviously, that's not happened.
Khabib's not really much of a boxer.
I know, but
he's a wrestler.
They're kind of like, we want to take Floyd and his people are kind of like, we want to take on the top guy in UFC that, y'all are saying this is the best fighter in the world, even though it's different.
He's a wrestler, though.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I don't get is it's like, you're putting him out. Now, he does have some good hands.
Yeah.
But he's mostly a wrestler. That's what I don't get. They're like, yeah, we want to fight the best guy you have. On record, yeah, he probably could be. Khabib probably could be. But to fight a boxer and to only be able to box, no, that's not a fair fight.
Yeah, see, I agree with you.
And the Mayweather team knows that.
Yeah, because I don't think I would want to see that because Mayweather... I feel like in a straight boxing match, he would outclass Khabib a lot.
Without a doubt.
We saw Khabib against Dustin. Dude, he was not doing too good with Dustin on the feet. Dustin Poirier on the feet, so he had to take him down. McGregor, McGregor was not expecting Khabib to strike, so he did catch McGregor that one time.
Yeah.
So he did a little bit better with McGregor, but I think with a world-class boxer like Floyd Mayweather...
And to only be allowed to box? Mm-mm.
See, dude, I think a lot of stuff could happen because Floyd... I think he fought Conor at like 168 pounds or something. Or he'll fight at 155... Not in UFC, but he'll, in boxing, he'll box somebody at 170.
Yeah.
So another theory I have... Masvidal is making a lot of noise.
I can see it.
And Masvidal's pretty much your golden child right now.
And he can fight on the feet.
Yeah.
Not like Khabib.
So could Masvidal possibly fight Floyd in this big 2020 event,
Yeah. I think that would be a fun fight. But I think it would be fun if they could say, okay, you can throw knees and kicks. You're wearing UFC gloves, but no wrestling. Like maybe they could do that.
Yeah.
To make it fair for Mayweather and to also make it fair for Masvidal.
I think Mayweather would break his hands, man, because we see all these fighters going over to bare knuckle. Have you heard about bare knuckle boxing?
I've heard a little bit about it.
Yeah, so a lot of world class boxers, I think his name was Paulie Madge is something. I can't pronounce his name.
Yeah.
But he was a world-class boxer. He went over there and fought Conor McGregor's teameate Artem Lobov, and he broke his hand in the second round because all they're fighting with is wraps.
Yeah.
So UFC fighters are used to it because of that they only have 4 inches of glove.
Yeah.
Floyd's used to having 16, 20-ounce gloves that he's fighting with.
That's insane.
Yeah, so I believe he would break his hands with a 4-ounce MMA glove on.
But then the thing is, I don't think that's fair to have someone who's not used to fighting with these big, dumbbells of gloves,
Oh, I know.
going and fighting somebody who's used to it. So I mean, I think you've got to give up. Both people have to give up a little bit of something in order to make a crossover like that be fair for both people. I didn't think it was fair that they weren't fighting in the cage like with McGregor and Mayweather. I didn't think that was fair. I didn't think it was fair that McGregor couldn't do some of the things he's used to doing. But I also don't think it would be fair to throw in Khabib and say you're allowed to wrestle this guy because Mayweather's not a wrestler.
Yeah.
So I think both people have got to have a little bit of give and a take.
I mean, it's obvious. Like, I don't like how Floyd, he can talk a lot of trash, but I don't like how he does it. Like, I didn't like how he stated, and I know there's videos of this, he stated that after him and McGregor's boxing match, that he was going to give McGregor a rematch in UFC. And when I seen that come out of his mouth, I was like, he's lying.
Yeah, you knew he was lying.
And he acted like it was going to happen. He knows he doesn't want that to happen.
No.
Because at the end of the day, UFC fighters, if you see somebody in the street, UFC fighters, I don't care what boxing, or, with regards to like Tyson Fury and a couple other people, heavyweights, you know what I'm saying? But if Floyd Mayweather and McGregor, no bodyguards or nothing, seen each other in the street, that would be a terrible night for Floyd.
Yeah. I agree completely. Same thing with Masvidal. Same thing with anybody, because they're more dynamic.
So I think when we're asking who's the better fighter, fighting in general, I feel like has no rules. Sort of like UFC.
Yeah.
So I feel like Floyd should never say that he can say he's the best boxer.
Yeah, the best boxer.
I don't feel like he should say I'm the best combat sports athlete and stuff like that, because you're not.
Because he's not fought anybody where they're allowed to wrestle, where they're allowed to throw kicks or anything. It's strictly hands, and so I don't think he's the GOAT because of that. Yeah, well, I mean maybe in boxing for his weight class, but I think you can't say all combat sports. Mm-hmm. So because you're not fighting kickboxers, you're not fighting wrestlers, you're fighting boxers, and that's it. And you're doing great at what you've done. Like you've made a great name for yourself, but that's it.
So you think I know what would be smart for Dana is if he kind of did this, like he could do every year he could do a UFC crossover event with like boxers, different kind of people.
He could do it with Zuffa.
Yeah, and he could make like this humongous card where he could be like, okay, Mayweather versus a UFC fighter. We're doing, because Rising already does this. That Rising promotion, they'll have boxing matches, MMA matches, all that on the same fight card.
Yeah.
So why couldn't we have like a main event? Okay, these two have agreed it's just boxing. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's like Mayweather versus McGregor, Masvidal, whoever. Yeah. And then the co-main event is going to be like Tyson Fury versus Stipe Miocic in MMA in UFC, like UFC rules. So, I mean, I think something like that would be cool. Obviously, awesome. For the hardcore fans, they're not going to like that. But But we like seeing fun. Like, I'm a hardcore fan, but I also like seeing money fights and stuff.
I like seeing things be mixed up a little bit, So I would definitely welcome, mixing that promotion once a year.
Oh, yeah.
For an insane, like, you get a belt after it, and it's like you get the two best people.
Yeah.
Every year. So that'd be awesome.
But, I guess let's move on to some other big news. These two things were making headlines pretty much all week. Ben Askren has announced his retirement from UFC and MMA, not just UFC. He said he's not doing anything. He's not gonna. I know he said that he wanted to compete in like grappling and different kind of wrestling exhibitions after he retired. Up into his 40s,
just to keep himself up.
But he said he's retiring from everything. He's not gonna compete anymore. The cause of this is because he says that he needs a hip replacement.
Yeah.
Which that's a pretty extensive surgery.
Yeah. That's not an easy, quick surgery.
Yeah.
So what's your thoughts? We've got Ben Askren retiring. I know you were initially a fan of him, and you probably still are. So do you hate to see him leave from the UFC?
Yeah, it's kind of disappointing. I mean, he came to the UFC late in his career. He's 35 years old. Obviously, he was undefeated, won championship, Bellator champion.
Yeah.
He had all these accolades before he came in, and just to see him go 1-2 in the UFC, the first win was kind of controversial, and then retire. I mean, it kind of sucks. He was, whatever you want to say about Ben Askren, he was a draw. people was tuned in to watch his fights.
Yeah. He was a needle mover.
And like they said, he made Masvidal who Masvidal is today. Without Ben Askren, Masvidal is not the Masvidal
he wouldn't have been as well known as he is.
Yeah.
But my thing is, it's like he came to the cream of the crop and he couldn't stand it.
Yep.
So, he was great at what he did elsewhere. He came to the UFC. He lost to somebody who was a fighter, and he lost to somebody who was a wrestler. And his first fight wasn't even like a blowout. And so he ain't the GOAT, like people are saying.
And that's what I agree and I respect, because what you just said, he said it himself on the Ariel Helwani show with his retirement. He said, I always wanted to come test the waters in the UFC. He said, I would have preferred to come over there earlier, but that wasn't my choice. Him and Dana White had a long history of beef. He said, I went and tested the waters, and I wasn't good enough. But he was like, now I can live with knowing that. Yeah. Now I know that I wasn't good enough. And he actually said he wasn't good enough.
Well, you got to respect that.
Yeah, and I do respect that. And, I mean, dude, we're talking him and Damian Maia. People was tuned in to watch that fight against people who just going to grapple the whole time.
Yeah. And back in the day when you were just grappling, people didn't want to watch those fights because they're like, grappling's boring. This was like a grappling bout. Like, people were excited for it. They were tuned in. Like you said, it was a needle-moving fight. But, I hate his hips being replaced, and he has to retire from any real
An interesting take on this is Michael Bisping said, I was reading an article about this the other day. He actually kind of blasted Ben Askren for his retirement and acted like he was taking the easy way out. He was like, if you were getting a knee replacement, I would understand, but he was like, a hip replacement, you're in and out. He was like, get back into training.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, man. I've kind of had to study different stuff like this, with it in my degree and stuff. And a hip replacement is pretty extensive. It's you kind of got to be eased back into training. There's certain precautions you have to take with people with hip replacements when training and stuff.
Yeah, and especially with someone who's wrestling. So, I mean, there's I see why, and it's not such a quick and easy surgery. Now, a hip replacement surgery now, just like any surgery, has been vastly improved in the last, 20, 30, 40 years. So maybe 20 years ago, a hip replacement was like putting you out for weeks and months, and you probably didn't even want to come near this again. But I think we've had a few other fighters who've had hip replacements and came back. But I guess the difference is Ben Askren is 35, and he's starting to get at that age where your body is beginning to deteriorate, not heal as quickly.
To me, a hip replacement, I think of a hip replacement is like just an elderly woman who maybe broke her hip and had to get a hip replacement.
Yeah.
So usually people don't get. I know now people have to get hip replacements. The hip replacement is needed because of overuse. His overuse was wrestling. Years of wrestling caused this, but I think that's a pretty extensive surgery. But it's not impossible. We've seen basketball players come back with no ACLs in their knees and do stuff. So it's not impossible. But I think he's done. He's had a really good career. He came over to the UFC, made a lot of money.
Yeah. Made a good name for himself. Yeah. And so, but I think it's fair to say his time's up. So, and it's sad, it was a short run in the UFC, but he's old.
I was thinking about this too. I jumped on the UFC 3 game the other day, and I was like, man, next year y'all better put Askren on here so I can use him.
I think we'll see him on the next game. I don't think. They even have Bruce Lee on the game right now. So I doubt we're gonna see the next game and not have him on it.
They put Bigfoot Silva on there one year, and he was out of the UFC for 2 years. And he's still on the game.
Kimbo Slice.
Yeah, Kimbo Slice. You gotta put my man Askren on there.
Yeah, exactly. So So the next really exciting thing in my mind is that Jones and Reyes is fighting. Now, that's not extremely exciting. I wanted to see Jones fight Anderson, but it's official for UFC 247 in Texas. Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts on this? If he beats Reyes, do you think he deserves to still be called the GOAT?
Like we talked about last week, I know we kind of talked about this last week because it was almost official, but now it is official. The UFC's announced it and everything. I do not feel like Reyes helps his resume. He's a good, but Reyes and Anderson, they're both not the biggest names. You know what I'm saying?
No.
They both, I think Reyes is undefeated, but I think John Jones, he can do a whole lot more than Reyes. Like Reyes, you're like, oh, okay. We know Reyes is a powerful puncher that knocks people out, but when he doesn't get that knockout, it's just gonna be like every other fight John Jones is in.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? He's just gonna outclass you and get the decision. Which John Jones hasn't been finishing people lately.
Not lately.
His last finish was with that steroid kick that he finished DC with.
Yeah. So I mean, I agree with you completely. I don't know if this gets him to be the GOAT. Now, it's not going to hurt him being called the GOAT, but if he fights Reyes, next he fights Anderson, and he still beats both of them, then you've kind of got to call him the GOAT at that point, because who's left?
The GOAT of the light heavyweight
the
division.
GOAT of the light heavyweight. Now, if he either went up to heavyweight or someone from heavyweight went down.
He's got to go up to heavyweight after if he beats Reyes and beats Anderson, he's got to go up to heavyweight.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think a lot of people call him the GOAT, but that's also controversial because of his, his use with steroids and winning fights from that. So, I don't know, man. I don't know if it's easy to call him the GOAT or not.
I agree with Corey Anderson. Corey Anderson was kind of mad about it and voiced his opinion. He was like, John took the easy way out. He wanted to fight just a striker. He didn't want to fight somebody that's well-rounded like me. And I agree. Like, Corey's known for his wrestling, but he went out there and just TKO'd one of the best strikers in that division in Johnny Walker.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know, man. I'd love to see him fight Anderson next.
What do you think's next for Corey?
I don't know. That's also a tough one, because if it's not Jones, who could it be, really?
I'm guessing it's going to be the Jan Blachowicz. He's the guy that knocked out Luke Rockhold, and then he went and fought Jacare and beat Jacare in that decision. And he wanted a title shot too. If we put Anderson and Blachowicz together,
and Anderson beats him, then it's like, and if he
Anderson has already beat him, but I guess the rematch would kind of make sense now.
It would solidify that like he should be.
And he beat him by decision, and Blachowicz is obviously better now. So
yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know, man. I'd love to see Anderson get to fight Jones, because that's who I'm kind of rooting for right now. But we might see Reyes come out and just dominate Jones. Because Jones hasn't been doing incredible lately. So, but the thing is, Anderson might not be next for Jones. It weirdly could be Israel Adesanya.
Yeah.
So getting into that, we've had a lot of drama with Israel Adesanya and Jones.
They've been going
for the last couple weeks.
Twitter like bad. Man.
Oh yeah, and they're going back and forth.
It's funny too, man.
Yeah. Now we thought we predicted that they're gonna fight, but we didn't think it was gonna be for like till 2021 maybe.
That's what Israel said, but he's talking himself into possibly fighting John Jones after his next title defense. He's talking, and John wants it.
Yeah, because Israel. They've been going back and forth, but Israel said he did not want to fight until he has cleared out his division and defended his title enough to where he felt like he was able to fight Jones. And so now he's getting mad. So he's thinking about going up to the light heavyweight class and fighting Jones. I'm excited, man.
Yeah.
I want to see that. Like, I want to see it. Now, I also respect him for wanting to defend it against everybody in his weight class. But this is one of those times when it's like, do it, one and done. Light heavyweight, knock out Jones, call it a day. Like, because I think Adesanya is going to win. If he fights Jones, I'm going Adesanya all the way.
Yeah, dude, it's just been funny, man. Their trash talk, like, they was talking trash about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we kind of thought, oh, it'd be like that.
Yeah, it's just gonna be blowing smoke.
But they still been going at it. Dude, one of the funniest was like John Jones. You know how Israel Adesanya likes anime and stuff.
Yeah.
He was like,
he called him a nerd.
Yeah, he called him a nerd and told him to go watch his anime porn.
Yeah.
I was like,
oh yeah.
And then
Adesanya
Adesanya responded, and he was like, it's actually called some type of H.
Called hentai?
Yeah.
Anime is like just regular Japanese cartoons. Hentai is like Japanese cartoon porn.
Yeah.
So.
And then Adesanya responded too, and this is what made John Jones get furious. But he's under John's skin, man. He is under.
Oh, yeah,
I've never seen anybody under John Jones's skin since DC.
Yeah.
But there's this thing on Facebook now called when I have kids, I'm gonna tell them this was such and such, and it's just kind of a funny thing. He posted a picture of Dave Chappelle with like
the crack around his mouth,
all over his mouth and his nose, and he said when I have kids, I'm gonna tell them this was John Jones, and that set John off, and he like said that when he seen him and when they fought, he was gonna break his arm and stuff or break his shoulder, and I was like, dang, he's man. In John's head.
Oh yeah. Well, it's funny on Joe Rogan's podcast, Israel Adesanya goes, John's a fan.
Yeah,
he's like, he's a fan of me, and that's why he doesn't like me. Like, that's why he's giving me so much attention, because he's a fan. He's getting nervous of what I'm doing. It's like, hell yeah, Israel. Like, I'm going for him all the way.
So you know what I was telling you earlier. Said John Jones versus Reyes is official for UFC
247.
I'm assuming it's going to be the main event.
More than likely.
Let's do Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero co-main event. Let's go ahead and kind of make that interaction right there. Yeah. Since they're talking it up.
Yeah, since they're talking it up. Then the next time both of them fight will be each other.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that would be insane. I want to see it happen so bad. Because what if Israel beats him and it's a title fight and he gets that belt? Ooh.
I know. I'm just waiting for somebody to beat him, man. I don't care. Yeah. Whoever's going against him, I always root for him.
Yeah. Well, see, I think, oh man, like I want Reyes to beat Jones. Kind of like you. It's like you just want somebody to beat him.
I don't know.
But I kind of want, like, I think if Reyes beats Jones, Israel's not going to be able to fight Jones. Like, I think the UFC's going to say, nah, he's not a title holder anymore.
Definitely. No, they're going to both have to keep winning to fight.
Yeah, they're both, like, so Jones is going to have to fight Reyes and win in order for them to say, okay, we can let Israel and Jones go at it. Yeah. Like, that's going to be a hell of a fight, man.
Like, dude, so, if Colby Covington was fighting John Jones, I'd probably root for Colby Covington.
I don't know. I think he's, like, the one person I'd say, no. Like, I'd say, you go kick his ass, Jones. Oh, man. I would be like, can both of these guys lose? Can it be a draw?
That double knockout.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, I hope we get to see Israel and Jones fight in 2020. So, man, that's exciting. But you know what else is exciting? My girls fighting. 2020.
This is what we wanted to see, though. This is what the fans wanted.
This is what the fans have been saying. Joanna Jacek and Weili Zhang are fighting in 2020. Now, it's not been made official which fight night or which pay-per-view they're fighting at. Has it been made official?
No, Dana White just said he is working on making that fight. He said it's going to happen in 2020. He just hasn't decided yet.
So it could be even 247 with the Jones card, or it could be like 248. Like, I think we're going to see it kind of soon.
I was trying to pull up her Instagram post that kind of started at Young Jacek's, but she just random one day she called out Weili Zhang like a couple of days ago. She was saying, I'll come down to China, get you. I'll come, wherever you want it. That's pretty tough. She's saying she's gonna go into her home country
and destroy her.
Like
which she will.
Yeah, like Zhang did to. Didn't Zhang knock out? What was her name? The person she just got the title from, it was Jessica Andrade. Yeah. Jessica Andrade was from Brazil. I think Zhang knocked her out in Brazil. Yeah. I think. I might be wrong on that, but... Dude,
I'm rooting for Joanna, but I'm always rooting for Joanna.
Yeah, I am too. This is definitely going to be a tough fight for her, because she normally kind of outclasses people, outscores them. She doesn't normally have that knockout power, and Zhang, Jessica Andrade was a monster and knocking out all kinds of people in this division, and Weili Zhang knocked her out in like 45 seconds.
I know. Zhang's a great fighter, and that's why I'm excited for Joanna to fight her.
Yeah, and I'm going to be rooting for Young Jacek. I think she's definitely my favorite woman's fighter ever in the UFC.
Oh, dude, I agree completely. Like, that's my girl in the UFC women's division. Yeah, she's my favorite fighter.
And dude, like I remember when somebody backed out against Amanda Nunes when Amanda was fighting at 135 now. Joanna Jacek that fights at 150. She was fighting at 115 pounds at this time. Wanted to step up and fight Amanda Nunes at 135.
That's an insane increase.
Yeah.
Because she's probably walking around at like 125.
But I mean, that
or
just
something.
tells you, man, she's just awesome.
Oh, yeah,
that she
she's-
would
dude,
do that. And I
she's
mean, I
incredible.
think this is for the 125-pound belt.
I'd imagine.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's exciting. So we don't know which UFC pay-per-view they're going to fight at yet, but hopefully it's soon. Hopefully we're not waiting until, like, next November, but I doubt we'd wait that long to see them fight. I think we'll see them fight by, like, April.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I know they're saying Khabib said the other day that him and Tony Ferguson, that everything that's went on with the UFC right now, they're targeting April for him and Tony Ferguson. So we know there's going to be a good card in April.
Yeah, yeah. When is 247?
February 8th.
That's what I thought. I
Yeah.
thought it was in February.
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got 247 in February, 246 in
We
January.
don't have it.
I thought it was
It's the-
January
the two-
18th. Was 246. Or, yeah, I thought it was January 18th.
Let me make sure I didn't mess up. And
Oh,
yeah,
put-
246, January 18th, Las Vegas, Nevada. Yeah, that's the rumors right now. It's not official, but the rumors is it's going to be 246 is going to be at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, January 18th, 2020.
Okay. Okay, well, that's exciting.
But I just think if you're putting a card right there, like we're already at Thanksgiving, so like obviously like whoever's fighting on that would have to already know they're fighting on it, and you're just kind of giving it a late announcement.
Yeah, I think they're giving it a late announcement because
So I
it's
don't know
insane.
if it's going to happen. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they already know who's fighting on it.
Yeah.
So, but I'm excited to see who it is. It's just weird they haven't announced it yet.
I mean, obviously, I would assume it'd be Connor and Cowboy. They've both been out
Yeah.
for a while. Well, Cowboy's, he hasn't fought. He usually fights every 3 weeks.
Normally we're seeing him fight at like every pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So, God, Cowboy's insane.
Yeah.
So, well then, but what's exciting is we have UFC Fight Night 166 coming to Raleigh, North Carolina on January 25th. So we have 2 months and 1 day until they come to Raleigh, North Carolina. And that's only like, what, 2-3 hours from here?
Yeah, I think it's only like 3 hours. That's why I was
Yeah,
talking
it's
about
not
it, 'cause
bad.
I know a lot of people that listen to our podcast is local.
Yeah.
And this is a really good local card that, I mean, I wouldn't think it would be too pricey. So, I mean, this would be, if you're a UFC fan, I think this would be a good card to get tickets to.
Yeah.
A lot of good fights on this one.
Are you looking up who else fighting?
Yeah, they haven't made the official fight card yet, but there's a lot of good fights. Let's see.
So what's really exciting is that we actually have a local person fighting on this card, and that's kind of making me and Marcus want to try to go to it if possible. And so his name's Tony Gravely, and he fights out of Blacksburg, correct?
Yeah, I think I believe the last time I heard he trained at Tech MMA and Fitness.
Tech MMA. Does he live in Blacksburg?
I assume.
You would imagine.
Yeah.
Dude, if
Because we've talked about it before. We ended up meeting him at the IMAX. At this time, he was a professional fighter, but he told us his goal was to make it to the UFC. So we think it's awesome that he's in the UFC. He made a big statement on the Contender Series and TKO'd. I forgot who he was fighting. He got a TKO in the 3rd round, made big waves for himself. Dana White gave him the contract offer after the fight. I found out on Twitter the other day, Khabib's manager that always gets into that stuff. What's his name? Ali.
I think so.
Yeah, he always gets into all kinds of drama. He is Tony Gravely's manager too.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, that's pretty sweet that your manager is the same as
Yeah, I know.
Khabib's, man.
Dude, if I'm moving to Blacksburg, and if I see him, I'm gonna be like, "Yo, Tony, you want to be on my podcast,
Yeah.
my MMA podcast?" Like that would be so awesome if we got him on here.
So, the main event of UFC Fight Night in North Carolina on January 25th is Curtis Blades versus Junior Dos Santos.
Oh, that's gonna
a
be good.
Good heavyweight main event.
That is gonna be a great card.
We have Frankie Edgar making his 135-pound debut against Corey Sandhagen.
That's
Frankie
kind of
Edgar,
exciting.
he's a legend.
He is a legend.
I don't think that's the main. I don't think that's the co-main event. We also have RDA versus Michael Chiesa.
Oh, that's another good fight.
That's a good fight between two high-ranked welterweights.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. We also have Tony Gravely. I can't remember who he's fighting, but
it doesn't say it on there.
yeah, but I mean, just the fact that
he's fighting. That's exciting.
Yeah, he's not even fighting. He's pretty much getting a hometown fight right there.
Yeah,
I say a lot of people will come out. A lot of people from his team and that support him will come out.
I agree completely. I would love to see a fight night come to Roanoke. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be tough. I seen UFC. They made a post today. They said tag what locations you would like us to come to in 2020. And I wanted to put Charlotte. I wanted to comment and say Charlotte, but I was like, "Dag, they're already coming to Raleigh, North Carolina." So
they might go back to Charlotte or Roanoke.
Yeah, I don't know if they'd come to North Carolina twice in a year.
No.
It'd be tough to have it at the Berglund Center. Like when I went and watched WWE there, I was like, "Dag, man, it's kind of run down." And
yeah, no, it's not like the newest facility.
And then there's a lot of empty seats at that WWE live event I went to a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know this isn't like the best area for UFC, but it would still be cool. So, but I agree. I don't know if they'd have enough fans to really justify coming.
Mm-hmm.
So, I get it.
But I mean, definitely, I'd probably consider going to this fight. I mean,
yeah. I mean, whenever when do
I think
tickets go on sale?
I think it said like December 6th or something, so we'll definitely check it out.
Yeah, if it's affordable, I'm definitely I'll definitely consider it.
It should be, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hope it's affordable because this would be a fun one to go to.
This would be.
So.
And I mean, they're still constantly announcing fights for this card, so.
Oh yeah.
Still kind of getting filled out.
Yeah. Well, you'd get to see the prelims and the main fight too.
Well, the event I went to, so it's long. It's long. You're there for a while. When me and Mary went to the one in Norfolk, you watch the Fight Press prelims, and then the main card.
Oh, that's awesome, though.
So literally, you get like the actual fights start at like 3 or 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So you're there for a while.
You're there all day.
Yeah.
So, well, that's a lot of beer to drink.
Yeah.
And a lot of overpriced pizza to eat. So, oh, man. Well, I'm excited. If it's affordable, I'll definitely consider going.
Yeah, definitely. Because that's awesome, man. That's coming this close.
Yeah. Awesome. Well,
that's all we got for you today, guys.
That's all we have. It was definitely short without any fights.
This should be our shortest podcast. I'm thinking it was around 30 minutes or so.
35?
Yeah.
35. Awesome. Well, thank you all for listening. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Check us out on Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, and y'all have a nice Thanksgiving. We'll see y'all next Sunday.
Thank you, everybody.